put it bluntly.
Accessibility podcast to put it bluntly.
Hello everyone, and we are back, episode 4 of season 2, also known as episode 19, if you're keeping track that way. I am Cameron Keywood, one half of the Waldorf and Statler, that's like saying Deck and Ant, Statler and Waldorf of Accessibility, and my co-host, award-winning co-host,
No.
is Wobbles. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Who's Statler and who's Waldorf? We've had this discussion before.
I'm the one with the beard.
You're the one with the facial hair, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, you're the long stringy bean one.
Yeah, that one, yeah. Yeah, I do prefer that to the Chuckle Brothers. Someone did refer to us as the Chuckle Brothers of accessibility, and I do think I prefer Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, because the one without facial... Oh, they both got facial hair.
Yeah, they've both got facial hair, but one of them is no longer with us, unfortunately, so you know. As many of you that have got vision will see, we are joined by a third person, as always, on this week's episode. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
I would like to introduce myself, yeah. So I'm Mikey Starovoytov. I'm a senior 3D artist in the good old games industry.
Perfect. Great introduction to himself there. So Mikey will be telling us a bit about himself later on. I've had the pleasure of knowing Mikey, wow. Not a year quite, but not far off. About 8 months, I reckon.
Yeah. What was it, June, July?
June, July. So developed last year we met through Blind Burners.
Same with me as well.
So Cameron met Mikey as well through Blind Burners at Develop. And yeah, Mikey's a bit of a lad, we'll say that. He's got a great sense of humour. He's also visually impaired.
I am.
And
If Wobbles has to leave the podcast for any reason, Mikey will be the new co-host.
Yeah, he kind of ticks a couple of the boxes, doesn't he? Visually impaired, good looking.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no. But yeah, we'll talk to Mikey in a bit because I know there's something that Cameron would like to touch on.
So, as everyone knows, we did an award special the end of last year, where we went through all the awards.
I don't actually. Everyone's like, you do want to win it because I don't want to win it. I don't think I'm deserved of it because of the other people I'm in there with.
Yeah, but if they were nominated, we didn't deserve it, would they?
Yeah, no. So I'm happy to be there.
Then this happened.
Mathew, Allcock.
Fuck off!
Congratulations.
No!
My fucking campaign worked.
You've had a great year from international conference speaking to
Well done,
consulting,
Paul.
from
Very well
content
deserved.
creation to social media advocacy.
Fuck off! Haley, I won!
Dedication, and most of all, you're a genuine, likable, and kind-hearted person, which of course counts for a lot in advocacy. And I know that your work has influenced some of the finalists and winners in other categories of these awards. So many congratulations on your year, and of course the deserved win.
Well deserved.
Fuck off!
Everything you do is a great service to the industry, so thank you very much.
So, Wobbles, how do you feel?
Still kind of. Yeah, it's weird for me, isn't it? Because I never do. Someone once called me a white knight, and I didn't quite know how to react because it cracked me up. Because I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Oh, you do it all for yourself." I was like, "What? Put myself into debt? Fucking get bored shitless working from home half the time when I could probably have a job somewhere else." Yes, I do it all for me. No, I don't do it for awards and shit like that. Never have done. Never will do. But it was nice because it's an award that comes from the community itself rather than the wider places. And it's safe to say it shocked me because I was up against some of the most recognised names and faces in accessibility advocacy, and to kind of win it was a shock, I think, as you could probably tell from the video. I was not expecting it at all, and it was nice. And then came the torrent of messages from people that I respect massively, and that also knocked me for 6 because a lot of them kind of hit home and were very nice and complimentary, because I still think I'm just a bit of a dickhead, which I am, but I also care. So there.
You're now an award-winning dickhead.
Yeah, I'm now an award-winning dickhead. Yeah, but it's just me, innit? That's what everyone says, and that's what I like about it. A lot of people have gone, "You won that award for many reasons, and one of them is because you're always yourself." I can't change. I won't ever change. And that's it. That's what it is for me. It's just about being me and making a difference. And if you want to call me a white knight, you can. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm just quite happy doing what I'm doing. But yeah, there's enough of me. Let's
yeah,
hand
that's
it.
the speech
That's
we
the
should have had
speech.
after we won.
Yeah, I raided out quite quickly, didn't I? Because
Yeah.
one, because I didn't know how to react, and two, because the life of award-winning
See, we tell how
advocate.
confident he was. He said to his wife, "Oh, you can go to a bath. I'm not going to win.
Yeah.
Go to a bath.
Hey,
I'm not
really?
going to win."
And then I was like,
Hey, have fun.
I've got to raid out because I'm currently sat in between two desks, one with all of my stuff on it and one empty because I have to move my whole setup this evening. So that's the life of an award-winning advocacy person. Is
Yeah, I mean, won the award. He's already buying new stuff.
yeah.
Jesus.
So yeah, no, right. That's enough about me.
Yeah, congratulations,
No,
pal.
and just thank you. I'll use this platform. Thank you everyone for voting, for the support, and all of that jazz. And now we will hand over to someone that's much, much cooler than me. Mikey, tell us
Nice to
about
meet you.
yourself.
Oh, about me, but where should I start? Where do I start? Yeah, so I've been in the industry for about 8 years, making things look pretty. It's not hard when I look this good.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him.
Um,
For those that aren't in the industry, Mikey, what the hell is a senior 3D artist and what do you do?
yeah, so the senior bit's a bit of bullshit, basically. Senior is in like senior citizen, like I've been in it for so long. Not as long as some though. Like I know.
Well, to be fair, 7 years in the games industry, you might as well be getting your bus pass.
Yeah. Well, I know guys who've been in for like 20, 30 years and they're still rocking it. Like I've still got a long way to go. I'm a baby really in terms of the length I could be in it. But yeah, so I make all the 3D models, whether it be environments, characters, props. I also do bits of VFX and coding as well. Yeah, basically anything that you can see in a game, I make it basically, which is quite ironic because I can't see it. But yeah, it's it's been good. It's been good. There's been ups and downs of the industry recently, but I've been pretty consistent with work since 2017, somewhere around there. Yeah, I got my first job in the industry. I was kind of scouted whilst I was at uni. When I was at uni, I kind of went a bit crazy and started learning basically everything, like animation, VFX rigging, character art, environment art. Because I didn't want to specialize. Because I like I like all aspects of art, and anything I can get my hands on that I enjoy, I'll just do it. I won't go. I've never had the mindset of I need to stick to one thing and then be
So,
the best at that thing.
have you always been able to draw? That's such a stupid question, I know. But
I've always, yeah. I mean, I've got. I think my mum and dad still have it. It's like a paint by numbers. The Count from Sesame Street. That I did when I was about 2 years old, and it was like all perfect within the lines, and I had no help or anything. I think I did that before I could talk. But yeah, I've always been quite artistic and always wanted to get my hands on something that I could draw with. Like I'm Italian, like my family are Italian. So one year we went to Italy, and my granddad's side of the family, they kind of live in the mountains, so they don't really have access to much other than chickens. But there was no pen and paper, and I was going out of my mind. Like I was just getting so like I just couldn't sit still because I needed to sit still and draw, but there was no pens or paper. There was a Game Boy, but it wasn't the same. Like
that's
I wanted
mad,
to
isn't it? Because if I put my Game Boy in front of my son or pen and paper to draw, the pen and paper would be on the deck and the Game Boy would be firmly in hand.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing though. I mean, gaming, isn't it? You're still occupying your mind. But I just needed something to get my ideas, because my brain's always working, overclocking itself. I could come up with an idea just on the spot of anything stupid and random and weird. So I needed that outlet to.
So with the creativity side of it, when you're working as an artist for a game studio, do they kind of come to you and go, I want this character with this kind of overall look? Or do they just go, I want a robot that's got 2 arms, 2 legs, and yeah, go?
It depends. I might join a studio who already have concept art and characters and things in mind already. For the most part, it's been me. Sorry about the dog.
No worries.
For the most part, it's been me who gets a big say on the design of the character or the environment. Mostly with characters, I've had quite a big part in. Mainly because I can work quickly with being able to make the thing, but it also I'm able to visualize up here before it goes on the computer of what something could look like based on like for example, I was working on This Dead Winter, and Rob, who's a good mate of mine, he was the art director. Well, he was the studio director. And he came to me and was like, right, we need like a bear character, and it needs to live in a cave, and have lived in this cave for like a long time. So my brain went to I just pull from like life experience for things like that. So when I was at uni, I lived in a house that had a basement, and in the basement was a mattress. I don't know why there was a mattress in the basement.
Well,
And
goes
it
on in the
Yeah.
basement mattress.
I didn't put it there.
Stays in the basement mattress. Yeah.
There was handcuffs and everything. But yeah, there was a mattress in the basement, but it was covered in mushrooms. So I was like, I'm going to put mushrooms on this bear, so it feels like it's lived underground. And it's kind of gross and things are growing on it. So there was the art side of it that I think about, and something that I've not seen a lot of artists think about really, and it's kind of, I don't know whether it gives me the edge or it just makes me a little bit different in the way that I approach things. But I think about the technical side of it as well. So I go, right, I can make this character, I can make it look pretty, that's great, but is it functional? Can I put a skeleton inside of it and make it move? How exactly does it need to move? Because that would change the way that it needs to be sculpted and posed. And there's lots of different things that I think about before even starting the damn thing.
Yeah.
And then when I've started it, I kind of consider that as I'm going along. So if I've made this character, I'll at least block it out and kind of get a feel for what it's like in the scene. So I'll do a block out sculpt of the character of the bear, and then I'll put it in the world and see how it looks, if the proportions are right, if the size of like mushrooms are right compared to the main character, and then I'll do a thing called decimation, which is where it takes all the polygons and makes it super low poly without losing a lot of detail, and I'll put a rig in it in ZBrush, and then I'll pose it. So there's nothing worse than trying to get a feel of the character if it's in just T-pose.
Yeah.
Like, you can't judge what it's going to look like, so I'll always pose my characters and then put them in the scene just to kind of get a feel. And then if I'm 90% sure that it's going to look right, and obviously if it gets signed off by studio director or creative director, whoever it is, then I'll just go run with it and go crazy. I'll make it fully game ready, put a rig in it, skeleton, make it game ready, and then it can either be sent off to an animator or it can go back to me to animate, because I'm like a jack of all trades, master of absolutely
Yeah,
none of
man of many talents.
Man of many talents. So, obviously, you talk about being an artist.
Yeah.
You studied that at university, got
Mhm.
yourself into the games industry, and I know your story. All of a sudden, something happened, didn't it?
Yeah, so so I'd worn glasses for. Do you want me to go through the whole story?
Yeah, go. Yeah,
Go back
that's
to
Yeah,
time?
do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's the whole
It's your
point.
time.
Yeah, it's your story.
We said
Yeah.
no, we started. Yeah, no, we're good. So I'd worn glasses since I was about 12 years old. My vision was fine without it was mainly just for reading. And then what's great is I was doing my driving lessons, and it was like middle of winter, so it was snowing, and we pulled up behind a car, and we're just chatting about how well I was driving and stuff. And I was like so close to doing my test, like ready for it. And then we pulled up behind a car, chatting about it, and there was a robin in front of us, and my driving instructor was obsessed. Like I think she might have had like ADHD. She was like looking at, she'd always point things out, especially whilst I was driving, which was really like probably not the best
Yeah,
thing to
very,
do. I'm
very,
like
very fun.
Yeah,
trying to focus
that
on the
sounds
road
nice
and
and
you're
safe, doesn't
pointing.
it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've noticed myself doing that as well, which is probably not safe either. But yeah, so she pointed out this robin, and I couldn't see it, and she was like, "It's right in front of us," and I just couldn't see it. So she asked me to read the number plate, and I couldn't see it, and I was like something's going on in my
This
eye.
is going to be an issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she got behind the wheel. She was like, "I'll drive home," which is probably the safer thing to do if I can't see the reg plate in front of me. So yeah, I went to the opticians. Should I say what opticians, just so people can maybe avoid it? I don't know.
Yeah,
It
go
might-
for it. It's only an optician's
Yeah.
chain. Throw him under the bus.
Yeah, it was it was ASDA Opticians in Hyde, in Greater Manchester. I don't know if it's like they just hire random people, or they actually like
Jimmy off the street, yeah.
So
yeah, like they
there's
just pulled
actually
some
in
random-
certain places, Specsavers, they only have like one trained optician in at a certain time, and if you don't get that person, you can end up with someone that's done an option. Oh, it's like an optician's test where they kind of do the basics and they're not
Right.
fully. Yeah.
Interesting. So I might have got that person maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah. So she sat me in the chair and looked at my eyes, and then I had that contraption. I can't remember what there's a name for it, but it's a contraption that goes in front of your whole face, but you can kind of see out of the sides a little bit. And she said, well, she sat. First of all, I saw her sit back in her chair and go like this. She went. Now I'm freaking out because, like, why would she sit like that?
That's a level of professionalism you don't expect.
Yeah,
It's like seeing a surgeon how to do surgery.
yeah. And then she sits back and I turn to her and go, "Is everything all right?" And she goes, "I'm gonna send you to the hospital because I'm worried you might have eye cancer."
Fuck.
And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" I was freaking out. And then she sent.
How old are you at this point?
I was. I think I might have been 17 or 18.
Imagine turning into a 17, 18-year-old and going, "Oh, by the way, I think you've got eye cancer."
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I just wasn't like, I just was not ready. It was a routine checkup. That's what was worse about it, because it was just like, do I need to get a better prescription of glasses?
Yeah.
And then she sits back and goes, "You might have eye cancer." So yeah, so she sent me to the hospital, and they were like, "No, you've got." In fact, the guy's words almost like word for word were, "You've not got eye cancer, but it's still not great." I'm like, who's hiring these fucking people?
Oh,
Like,
Jesus.
there's just no standards to, like, no procedure in telling someone that. So at this point, I'd grown numb to the fact that people are just absolute-
Idiots. Yeah.
So yeah, so he said it's he said it's like still not great. So I said, what is it? And he said, you've got bilateral keratoconus, and what that means is instead of the front surface of my eye, my cornea, being rounded, it's now like a triangle. So it'd be that way, and it's more like that now. So what that does is, I already had astigmatism, so my vision was kind of blurred anyway. But what I have is, it's kind of like looking through a kaleidoscope, plus blurred vision, plus underwater, and it gets way worse at distance. Like I think so. I can see my fingers about 60 centimeters in front of my face, but I can't tell how many there are. I know how many there are because I've my fingers, but if it was someone, if I'd never seen a hand before or seen someone's fingers, I wouldn't know how many there were there. Like I can count 8 or 9 at the moment, but I just don't know the real number. Obviously, that doesn't apply to my hand because I know how many fingers I've got. But when it comes to curbs or people in front of me, it just feels like there's a lot more going on, and that's just sitting still. If I move my head, it's like everything shifts with it. It's kind of like the Doctor Strange, where the world's kind of like morph.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Oof.
Kind of trippy.
I've
So yeah, going back to you.
I've seen like where they've recreated it with videos. The best way to explain it is if you've ever been punch drunk or like been knocked for 6 and you're seeing double vision, or you've someone's hit you in the face with a football or whatever. You're seeing double vision, triple vision, but it's constant.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so going back to the whole starting out uni thing. So yeah, I did 3 years at college. So I did 2 years on the games and animation course, and then did a year on the fine art course, and then did 3 years at uni plus. It was called a sandwich course. So I guess it's because it's sandwiched like somewhere in the middle of the 3 years. But I set up my own game studio. Didn't do well. We didn't release anything, but it was a good learning experience. But whilst I was on the course, Simon from Red Kite was working at the uni, and he kind of scouted people who had potential, and it was I was one of those people, I guess. And before I even graduated, he just one day asked me if I wanted to come on a tour around the studio. So I went for a tour. He was showing me kind of what they were working on, brought me into a big meeting room and asked if I wanted the job. And I was like, sure. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was worried that I wasn't going to get anything because when I got diagnosed with my eye condition, it was in 2013 when I was properly diagnosed with it. And then it got worse and worse within the first 6 months after diagnosis, it got worse 6 months after, and progressed to the point where I had to wear these giant lenses. So they were specially made in America, and they were horrible to wear, but they did fix my vision whilst I was wearing them. So yeah, I started work at Red Kite, and I was there for about a year, I think. And the first sort of 6 months, we were in this office that had open windows and fresh air coming in.
Before we jump on to the next bit, I'm gonna have you, because I have personally had this with different things. Did you ever get that you're visually impaired? Why the fuck are you going for an artist's job or down the art route? Or yeah.
People either don't believe that I'm blind or don't believe that I'm an artist. Either two can't
So
coincide.
because you obviously still pursued it when did your parents ever be like, it's like, was it ever the moment of your parents going to you, are you sure you want to do this? Because like you losing your sight, you want to try art, it's
No, I think I mean, I was in a band for like 7 years, and that's the only thing my mum and dad were kind of against because, you know, they
I
could
bet you were
see it wasn't
you were
very
definitely
good.
the singer, weren't you?
I was what, sorry?
You definitely the singer, weren't you?
Single?
Singer.
Or singer? Oh, I was single and no, I wasn't the singer.
Oh, remind. I was gonna say you've got
Hey,
that.
that's the only thing I can't do. I can't sing or play drums properly. I'm better at it now than I ever was, but I'm still not great. But
So-
no, I can't sing for shit. I've got everything. I've got the face.
Yeah, that's what made.
I
Yeah,
was-
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you screamed lead singer of Maroon 5 or something, you know.
No, but yeah, I never got any
That's amazing.
you know anything from my parents being like,
Yeah, mine are like
don't do
that.
this. Or are you sure you don't want to do this? You know, alcohol definitely helped make it easier. I'm not condoning it, and it wasn't a good time of my life, but at that point it made things a little bit more
Yeah,
bearable.
sometimes you have to hit the bottom to.
Yeah, preach. We've had this. That yeah, you got to hit the bottom. But so
Yeah.
you then straight from uni into a job, which
Yeah.
that's not very much.
That's a dream now. That's a dream now.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it
'Cause
was even before I graduated. I was working. I had to take the day off to graduate.
yeah, that's mad.
Crazy.
So yeah, I was quite lucky really to have even had my foot in the door with it. So I was there for about 6 months in a nice open window office and fresh air coming in constantly. And then we moved to a different office that had pure air conditioning, no open windows. Now, anyone else, fine, that sounds great. To me, it didn't seem like an issue until the issue started happening. So those lenses I had to wear that I was telling you about, they were huge. Like they covered the white part of my eye. They were that big, and they weren't soft lenses. They were like hard as a bottle cap, and I had to fill them with saline solution and then sort of tilt my head down and put them in with a plunger. It's the whole process. It took like an hour in the morning to get it right. So again, open window, fresh air, absolutely fine because it needed the air to get behind the lenses and flow behind them. When we went to this office that was pure air conditioning, there was no fresh air, so it was just pumping the same dry air into my eyes. And eventually, I started developing an infection in my eye, and I didn't know it was an infection. It was just kind of, maybe it was little things like little signs where the lights in the office seemed really bright, and I was like, I just can't look at them. I can't look up. And then my screen started to get really bright. This was over like a few weeks. This progression. The screen was too bright, and then I started turning it to like night mode so I could still work. So the whole screen was orange, and then like Google was in night mode, and all the other apps were in night mode. And then that started getting bad, and then it got to a point where I couldn't even lift my head. So my head was like this, and I couldn't even lift it because it was so painful. And it turned out the infection was like messing with the nerve endings in my spine and at the top of my neck. It was horrible. So went to the hospital, and they said it's basically because of the new office because you need fresh air. So I was like, but we're in an office that's got no, like the windows don't open. It's like it was an old meeting room that was kind of converted. So they put me on the sick for 2 weeks, I think, just to recover because I had to do the eye drops every couple of hours. It was horrible. And then went back to work. Well, my eyes started to heal again, and then I put my contacts in. Started working on my own things at home for a week. And things were great. I was like, oh my god, I'm back! Like I can work again. And then rang Simon, and I was like, right, I'm gonna go back into the office, start working. And I turned up in the office, and literally within like the first hour, the pain in my neck started again, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" It was just that the aircon was messing with my eyes, and I don't think I was fully healed, but it's not the point. It still would have happened again, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether I'd done it a week in or 6 months in, it wouldn't have made a difference. It would have happened ultimately. So I was brought into a meeting room, and they let me go because I asked if I could work from home, and the answer I got back was, if we let you work from home, we'll have to let everyone work from home. So yeah, I was out of a job. So I was kind of in panic mode, and me and Brogan in times of crisis always turn to food. So I was let go, and literally after it, I was like, "We've got no money coming in. Let's go and get a really expensive meal." So we went
60
went
quid
for
on
a meal.
60 quid on a takeaway always makes everything feel better, even when you've got
Oh,
no
yeah,
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
It does. I think I got pulled pork. That's kind of the mood I was in at the time.
Just anything that's got shitloads of fat in it that's not good for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pulled pork's the one. Yeah.
Although a kebab would have done well.
It's better than a litre of Jack Daniels, I suppose. There's always that.
Yeah, I mean that would have been nice as well.
Yeah. That wouldn't have gone down too badly.
No, but yeah, so I was out of work for a total of 3 days. So in the first day I was let go, I applied for, there was a sofa, like what are they called? Like a fancy sofa shop around the corner. So I saw they had a job going for a sales person. So I applied for that, and day 2, I reached out to a guy who used to work at Red Kite, and he left there to be a.
I want to rewind. I reckon you could sell a sofa to anyone.
Well, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I
was
mean.
in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in customer service for like 4 years, so I'd be okay. I don't think I'd be amazing, but the face would help.
Yeah. You've got that car salesman like face, the pristine beard, the fringe. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, so I spoke to this guy, Jason, he's called, absolutely amazing guy, and told him the situation, and he was like, "Well, we need an artist." He was working at R8 Games at the time, and he was like, "We need an artist. Do you want to come on for a 3-month contract?" And I was like, "Well, 3 months is better than nothing." So absolutely, like I snatched his hand off at the idea. So I was on a 3-month contract, technically, verbally, because I didn't sign anything. I didn't sign an NDA. I didn't sign a contract. Like, I didn't sign a damn thing the whole time I was there, which in hindsight is kind of crazy. But I trusted him, he trusted me, and I trusted the bosses and the whole process. And I was just happy to be back in work. So yeah, I was out of work for 3 days, joined R8, and then obviously fully remote as well. Like, it was working from home. Everything was great. I had the windows open so I could still see. At this point, I'd gone down to just one eye, because the other eye was like really, really bad. Like, the scarring that had been caused from the other office, it got so bad I could only wear one lens. So I was literally just running on my right eye for like a year. So yeah, I was working there again. Supposed to be just 3 months. They saw my work and were like, "Let's keep you on." So I was there for the full 2-year dev cycle. But in the first year, again, wearing just the one right lens, and then during the second year, I just wanted to try it because I was like, might as well give it a go. So I stopped wearing my other lens, because it was getting a little painful in the other eye. So I stopped wearing both of them, and I realized I could still see the screen, but I had to get a lot closer. Like, I'm sat this far back now, I can't see any of your faces. I can't even see my own face, and it's full screen. I've got an ultra wide monitor as well, so you'd think I'd be able to see something. I can see outlines and shapes, but I can't see detail this far away. So I have to get like within centimeters, maybe inches, more like of the screen.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir with Wobbles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just been an adaptation that I've made. I've now got I've got the ultra wide monitor. I've got a keyboard with bigger keys on it. Ultimately, I can still do my job, and I've got in consistently with work since 2017, pretty much.
So I think the big takeaway point from that for me is don't judge a book by its cover. It's cliche as fuck, isn't it? But
Yeah.
you just instantaneously everyone's going to go visually impaired artist. That's not going to work. And this is kind of when you first like meet Mikey. You're very much everyone does it. Even I did. I was like, right, I'm very like inclusive, but visually impaired artist. That's a whole new one on me. And like to that level of fine art as well. It's not abstract art. It's nothing. It is detail, minute detail. It's the games industry that works on minute details. And for someone, as you said, you've never been out of work for longer than what, a few weeks, a few months, maybe.
Before I was laid off from Huge Car, I was out of work. The longest I was out of work was 5 days.
There you go. That's mad. And in an industry that we all know is in the shitter, to put it bluntly. I said it.
He said the thing.
He said the thing. He always says the thing once. That's incredible. And I think that's a credit to yourself and your resilience, because I met you at Develop and we've both got quite similar stories-ish with career-wise where it massively affected our careers. And you just haven't let it get in your way. You've had your ups, your downs. Like you said earlier on, we've all done it. We've all had them moments. And
I think the biggest thing was learning to adapt to it, but overcome it as well. Like, we're in a position where, with our disability, we're going to face some kind of adversity, which is, I don't know whether we're mentally or physically prepared for it, but when it happens, you just kind of have to learn how to cope.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest.
It's the biggest thing.
Learning how to cope.
It's like me and my wife always say, we're just waiting for the next thing to kind of come along that's going to kick you in the bollocks again, because it's going to happen at some point. You know it, and you're just waiting for it. But you've just got to learn to enjoy it. Enjoy the in-between moments, we say, where there's nothing going wrong, or everything's kind of stable, your vision, or whatever, your disability, everything's stable. You've got to enjoy that 6 months, 2 years, whatever it is, enjoy it. And like, you came to Develop last year, and it was, like you said, it was the first time you'd ever done a big event like that. And you, like we all said, you smashed it. You didn't let anything get in your way. You did the expo. You did talks. You had one-on-one meetings with people, and not for one moment did anyone sit there and go, "Well, I think Mikey's struggling." No one ever once would have thought that.
No. And
credit to yourself, and also our mutual friend, who we all love very dearly, and will be a guest on the podcast soon, Paul. You and Paul have got a great relationship. I think it cracks me up. Yeah. And you've done you even went as far as Barcelona, haven't you?
Yeah, I went to the Indie Dev Day event in Barcelona, which was strange but amazing. The people are just, it's a whole other world. They're just so welcoming, and food's a big thing, which is a tick. I mean, we went to an audio, like a Spanish audio. Is it Spanish? No. Yeah, it's Spanish. I think it was called the Spanish meetup or something. I can't remember. There was a name for this group, but basically it was audio guys in the games industry in and around Barcelona, and they all had like a meetup, and we were just thinking, oh, it's going to be just drinks, and we turn up and they're like, sat around a table ready to sit down and eat, and I was like, this is me.
I'm home.
Jesus.
That's the
Cool.
that's the Italian in you. Just food
Yeah.
constantly at every turn. Yeah.
And I sat down and had a whole plate of prawns to myself, and they were huge. It was like plate came out like this, and I was like, this is awesome. And then we went out for drinks afterwards, but it was just strange sitting down and eating a meal with people like that. Doesn't like we drink a lot in
Yeah.
at least the UK side of the games industry. Like I've not really seen anyone sit down and eat. It's usually just drinking or doing mushrooms.
Amazing.
You've done your first talk recently
Yeah.
as well, like you.
Yeah, unfortunately, without the people
Yeah.
but
You don't need me.
I think I channeled a bit of your energy, throwing out some
You
jokes.
didn't have energy that day. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good talk. I was so nervous when I was up there.
Yeah,
Like
your first one's horrible.
I think part of it was like I looked up at the crowd, and there might have only been 5 people sat in a room that can sit 300, but to me, at that distance, it looked like there was about 4,000.
Oh, see, I have the opposite end of this. It's great. I can't see like hardly anyone. I just get like shapes. So I know how many people are in the room, but I can't read their facial expression. So I'm like, if the person at the back of the room is asleep and don't care about my talk, I don't care. I still think they're listening to me. It's great.
Yeah. See, it's weird. Like I was in a band for like 7 years. You'd think I wouldn't be nervous going up in front of a few people, but because it looked like there was a lot more people, I got up there and I could feel myself sweating. Like my voice started croaking. I was like, oh fucking hell. But yeah, I think I eased into it a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, it gets easier.
Yeah.
And I noticed like I changed the way I was sitting as well, which kind of helped. I don't know why, but it just I felt a bit more comfortable towards the end. But it was a good talk. And I think I put enough points in there. Like we were asked about accessibility in the workplace and how what do you call it? Where you make the adaptations to the office.
Reasonable adjustments?
That's the one, yeah. Nice one, Cameron. Yeah, the reasonable adjustments and how companies can improve on it. And I just practically was like, just offer work from home.
Just offer work from home, or maybe put some windows in a room once in a while, guys. Jesus, come on.
Yeah, like the amount of companies that like this the whole DEI thing that's going on at the minute with like Trump in America and stuff. It's like, not to get too political, but in this country at least, anywhere, it's never helped me. Like I've applied for companies that claim DEI and all this stuff, and not once has it helped. Like even I've applied. In fact, I was reached out to by a studio in Middlesbrough who they claim DEI and all this, and then said that they're fully accessible and they focus on accessibility. And I was like, great, like that sounds great to me. I like some of the games they've worked on too. So I messaged back and was like, yeah, I'd be well interested. I think it was for like a senior artist role, and everything they were asking for, I could do everything and more. So I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'd be in a good chance of getting this job. They reached out, so
they want want you.
So I was like, that rarely happens where someone reaches out to you. And it might have been just a blanket email, but at the very least it came my way. So I was like, right, I'm gonna reach out, because I saw it, all the DEI accessibility stuff. I was like, I might even be in with more of a chance because I'm disabled, blind, but I also fit everything they're asking for. So even if you take away the disability, I still fit everything they're asking for. So I said, do you offer remote work? And they were like, nope. So I said, I think I messaged back saying, okay, never mind, then I'll hopefully you'll become more inclusive in the future.
I just love that because you're so much
Mic
like
drop.
you're so much like me and Cameron and a couple of the others inside the accessibility community that just think with the sarcastic ass comment first, and then it's great. We love
Well,
it.
it's like, don't like. For me personally, my experience has been the ones who don't claim it are the most inclusive.
Yeah.
Which is fucking wild. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me personally. Like, if you're gonna say that you can do something, then do it. Don't just say it for say, like, because it looks good. Actually act on it.
I think that's a perfect point to end the first segment with. If you're actually going to do it, say you're going to do it, fucking do it. And I just want to, like we always say, just say thank you for telling your story there, Mikey, because your story is, I've said it before to you and said it's so unique inside the games industry. It's not just unique in the games industry, actually, it's unique outside of the games industry, because like it's just mad that you've managed to, one, overcome your disability, two, overcome it while still coming to grips with it, working in an industry that's, one, in the shitter, and two, keeping jobs and your head afloat. It's just, it's a credit to you and just your ability to keep at it.
Thank you. Yeah.
But
I appreciate it.
No, it's been a pleasure to listen to you chat. We're going to chat to you some more in a second. We're going to move over to patch notes and talk about this week's gaming news.
Accessibility podcast called To Put It Bluntly.
Welcome back, peoples. We are on part 2 of today's episode with patch notes and the quiz coming up shortly. We are still joined by my glorious co-host Cameron and the sexiest senior artist in the games industry, Mikey, and I'm not going to butcher your last name. So we have got some gaming news this week, as always. I'm going to start with a much beloved franchise of mine, Battlefield. So Battlefield yesterday announced, after a leak the day prior, funnily enough, that they are merging their previous studios. So Battlefield, there is now an independent studio at EA called Battlefield Studios.
Underground Creative took up with that.
Yeah, great naming. They incorporated DICE and 3 other studios that previously done different work for DICE under, I can't remember his name. The creative director is, what's his name, Cameron? Hold on. That's going to bug me because it was on my mouth. It was on my lips while I started this, and now I can't remember.
John Smith Sr. Yeah, so the 3 studios are Motive, which
I've got
I think it's got Star Wars Squadrons, Criterion,
Ripple Effect,
Speed,
Motive, so and
Ripple
DICE.
Effect,
so the how EA are describing it is the future of Battlefield is here for studios across 2 continents with over 20 years of franchise experience and world-class talent from all over the game industry have come together with one goal: to bring a bold and faithful new version for the series to life. So it's literally called Battlefield Studios. The next game is being called Battlefield, literally just Battlefield by the looks of it. And they've got, I want to say it's Vince something.
Vince Zampella.
I don't know. I can't remember.
That's his name, Vince Zampella.
It is Vince Zampella. And so it's Vince Zampella, and then they've taken an old GM from Call of Duty to be his general manager. And I think it's exciting times because I adored the Battlefield games growing up. And Battlefield 2042 was a pile of, to put it bluntly, again, you said the thing.
Last good one was 1, I think.
So it's not been a great few years for the franchise. People have been screaming for some news, and I think this is massive because I genuinely do think it's a way for EA to kind of go to Vince, who's got a hell of a massive portfolio in terms of Battlefield games, third-person shooters, just kind of go, here's all of them studios. They are yours. Have total creative control because you know what we're doing and we fucked up on the last one. So please fix it for us. And I genuinely think that's why they've done it. And they've gone, we're going to give you one of the most recognised first-person shooter general managers that worked for Call of Duty for a decade. Have him and go. And fingers crossed, it does look like it could be something special. Although they've announced this thing called Battlefield Labs, where they are getting direct feedback from the player base early on, pre-alpha and everything like that. Although there is an issue where I am currently 262,000th in the queue to sign up for said program. So
You don't get a skip pass because the accessibility.
I haven't got my disabled badge hasn't worked. I've flashed it a few times.
You're an EA partner as well.
Yeah,
Come on, you
yeah,
should be there.
I know. I have already sent a couple of messages. I'm not gonna lie, but no, it's exciting times ahead for the franchise and for Battlefield, which I cannot wait for. So
This year, I think.
I reckon it'll be this year. They'll announce. I reckon they're gonna do an early access, and because the last one was such a flop, they need to make sure this one hits. It was terrible in terms of a Battlefield game. They tried to kind of go down the Call of Duty route of different loadouts with different abilities where you can zip line, and it just wasn't a Battlefield game. Where I think, what was the expression? I think it was Call of Duty game used boots on ground, because they had an iteration of the games where they had power suits and exoskeletons. And I do feel like this Battlefield is going back to boots on ground, running around in a tank, shooting down planes in a fighter jet, destroying everything on the map, which is what Battlefield players just want. So no, fingers crossed that's good. We're going to hand over to Mikey, because it's the curse of the Wobbles, even though I haven't mentioned it. There has been some more shit news out of the industry. Mikey, over to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's been some more layoffs, which is, people were saying survive to 25 and all this jazz, and it's just, still happening. I'm hoping for some good news where, all these companies that are laying people off will, stop laying people off, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think for anyone out there who's listening, who's an artist or programmer or anyone in the games industry, I think the next step and next sort of evolution is to go freelance. And the reason I sort of say that and think that is, rather than these big companies spending hundreds of thousands of pounds to hire people who they need for like a week, and they've got a contract and they can't, not pay them for their entire time there. They could just pay them on a freelance basis. You've also got the issue of if you hire someone who's a bit of an asshole, you can't exactly get rid of them if they're like on the payroll and all the logistics with HR around that. It's a nightmare. So I think, just from what I've seen from inside the business sphere, the companies who might thrive, especially in indie games, because I don't think AAA will have adopted it fully yet, or even at all. Especially for indie games. So if you're hiring freelancers, and you hire someone who's maybe good at their job but they're an arsehole or hard to work with, then you don't have to keep them around. You can just kind of give them the notice and then.
So have you been doing some freelance stuff?
Yeah, so I've worked with code devs doing VFX and environment art with them. Just jumping back to what we were saying before about it being my first time at develop. If I'm thrown into the deep end, I'm able to adapt to it pretty quickly. And the same with the VFX stuff. Like I've done VFX in the past, like bits, and I know just enough to get me by. But that's what I was doing with code devs was VFX. And now I'm working with Brick Mouse on their game Zombie Dog, and my role coming into this was character art, and I've kind of now adopted character animation, VFX, and built a system, a dismemberment system now, so we can basically have zombie limbs flying about the place, and
That's always positive.
kind of
It's always
gross.
a
But
good
it's
thing.
funny. It's funny to watch all these zombies just get chopped up on the screen. But yeah, I think again, just from my own experience as a freelancer and seeing the way that studios function better when they hire freelancers, it kind of puts the power in everyone's hands. So I can sort of dictate what days I'm going to work, what hours I work, within reason, obviously, because the money is not endless. You still have to cap it at some point. But it just means that if there's someone who's a red flag or really difficult to work with, you don't really have to keep them around. Like,
Yeah, it's like, just to put into perspective what Mikey's on about. So obviously, Dragon Age Veilguard from BioWare wasn't a big as hit as they were anticipating, and according to EA now, so Jason Schreier at Bloomberg says that after layoffs and permanent transfers, which apparently has now come to light that no one was transferred anywhere, they just used that as a way of saying we made everyone redundant, but we didn't, which they did. BioWare is down to less than 100 employees to finish Mass Effect 5.
Yep. And that's just the development that's just started. Also,
Yeah, so it's so far off. So basically, BioWare have gone, shit, the next project isn't in a place where we need all these people working on it. Let's lay them off and then rehire another 200 people in a year's time when we've got more than a vertical slice or something, I can imagine.
I mean, there's also part of the layoffs as well to keep the what they call the shareholders happy.
Yeah,
So
and
that's definitely part of it. But in terms of,
I've made this
I've
comment
seen it.
before, and it's people in suits in places they shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've witnessed that firsthand. Unfortunately, it's just, and they're hard to do anything about as well because they're so high up.
Plus, they got the money. They're the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's yeah. There's a lot of factors that I've sat and thought about of why the layoffs are happening. The worst for me is when a company lays a bunch of people off and then puts jobs out again. It's like you've just got rid of those people. What are you doing?
Yeah, but the wage is a bit lower.
The wage is a bit lower. The title's like one word different, and yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's going to cause issues with, like, I've seen it in the VFX industry where people have been let go because of AI taking over. It's like, I don't
Marvel,
think
but
that's the
Marvel
same.
of
I don't think the
Marvel
game
stuff.
industry's quite there yet with the
No.
whole AI taking over. I think the main issue is that people throughout, like, COVID and, I think they kind of took advantage of different government schemes, and then that's kind of shot them in the foot. Again, there's not one scenario that's caused all this. There's lots of different things, but ultimately, from what I can tell, and from my own experience, it just feels like freelance is a way to go, and indie studios are the way to go, because the AAA ones are just. I always say this when it comes to being hired. I always when they ask about the awkward question of money, I never ask for, like, I've never asked for anything more than 45, I think was my max, because I didn't get in this for the money. Like, the money's, don't get me wrong, the money in this industry can be great, but I didn't get in it for the money. I got in it to make cool shit and to make games. If I wanted to make money, I would have been a lawyer or a surgeon. Like, I wouldn't.
I think the eyesight might have. I think the eyesight might have dampened the surgeon skill tree a little bit.
The lawyer. I mean,
Definitely the surgeon one.
Yeah.
Matt Murdock.
Yeah, I was going to say
little lawyer.
Yeah, cliche as hell there. Mikey, dark-haired, beard, Matt Murdock 2.0 with the cane and yeah.
Yeah, it's the British Matt Murdock.
Yeah, the British Matt Murdock. Amazing. So, as always, we like to kind of compile a bit of a, excuse my French, if you don't know what the term shit sandwich is, it's what a lot of managers use. It's a management technique, but there's probably a better name for it than a shit sandwich. You start with a high, you hit the low, and then you come back and end on a high. So, Cameron, what is your news today, sir?
I don't think we're going to end on a high. I think it's more of a shit sandwich, but you've left out the bottom piece of bread.
Because it's a great. It's mad that this is an actual gaming piece of gaming news.
Yeah, this is an actual headline. The co-founder of Treyarch allegedly hit firefighting plane with drone during the LA wildfires. So, former Treyarch co-founder Peter Tripp Ackerman pleaded guilty to hitting a firefighting plane with his drone. Obviously, the fires have been raging in LA, like hearts go out to everyone there affected. Probably some of the most destructive fires like I ever seen. But yeah, he was like surveying the area with his drone, and his drone hit the plane that was carrying, I think, over 1,000 gallons of water.
That's mad. Obviously, the plane was fine and his drone wasn't.
You say that?
No.
So, it collided with a firefighting plane, and it costs 65,000 USD to repair the plane, and 150 hours of community service is what he wants. Other than that, it would be a year's prison sentence.
My God.
So it cost 65. It was grounded for a few days. So it damaged the left wing, grounded it for several days, and obviously then it couldn't participate in the firefighting. But the plane has a really cool name. It's called the Super Scooper.
The Super Scooper.
Capable of carrying over 1,000 gallons of water.
What drone has he got? A fucking tank.
Yeah, so he launched a drone from the top floor of a parking garage in an attempt to survey the fire, but lost track of it a mile and a half from his starting point, at which point it collided with a plane.
That's mad. That's a story. That's just yeah.
So he co-founded Treyarch in 1996, and he served as president at Skydance Interactive, but recently left there as well. So yeah, maybe don't go flying drones when there's
Wildfires.
planes over wildfires. Yeah.
Imagine if he's got a service prison sentence. What are you in for? Flew
Oh,
a drone into.
I'm in for domestic terrorism. I crashed a drone.
Yeah. Instantly just going to be the prison whipping boy because everyone's going to know you as the drone guy.
I don't even know what they're gonna try and put the drone.
Oh. And on that moment, we will move on to the charity quiz segment. So I will pass over to Cameron in about 2 seconds when I press one button and press another button, and he will introduce this segment. Accessibility podcast to you, Cameron.
Hello, everybody. We are back. It's charity challenge time, third time. So you should know how it works by now. But if not, we ask the guest 5 questions, however many they get, plus a tiebreaker, and we will see who gets the money from us for their charity. Mikey, what's your charity?
My charity is the Sheffield Royal Society for the Blind.
Great cause, as well every cause has been so far. And I will start the questions this week, and me and Wobbles will alternate. So, why did you pick your game, Arkham City?
I mean, for the fact that I get to feel like Batman, like that's
yeah, that's a good reason.
Yeah, that's. I think every single person, especially guys on the planet, like, I don't know anyone who wouldn't want to be a vigilante and kick the shit out of people for good reason, not just randomly.
I want to kick the shit out of people just because.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the easiest games for me to play, mainly because I've seen this many times before, but because of the detective mode.
Yeah,
like it just makes it so much easier.
Accidental accessibility.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite kind of accessibility. Yeah, it's called accidental accessibility. So for those of you that don't know what detective mode is, turns the game high contrast, instantaneously. Enemies become fluorescent orange, if I remember rightly, and then
Yeah.
certain things in the map you need to find become like fluorescent green, and everything just stands out. And it doesn't pinpoint. It doesn't like give you the game's answers. It just makes it accessible. It doesn't say, here is exactly what you need to do. You need to follow these on the ground. It just kind of goes, right, you're in the right area. You're looking for this kind of thing. And it works brilliantly. Assassin's Creed's got it with Eagle Vision. And it's something I talk a lot about in my talks and stuff as an accidental accessibility, because it's my favourite kind. So we will then, yeah. Cameron, over to you.
So, question 1. The first 2 questions are multiple choice, and then from then on, it gets a bit harder. Question 1. Which of these villains does not appear in the game? A. Hush. B. Calderman. C. Manbat. Or D. Mr. Zaz.
Do I just say it out loud?
Yeah.
Okay, Manbat.
Correct.
What year was Arkham City originally released? You've got A, 2009, B, 2011, C, 2012, or D, 2014? I nearly read out the answer then. That would have been great, wouldn't it?
Let's say 2014.
No, are you ready to feel old?
Yeah.
2011. I felt well old when I read that.
Yeah. So the
I mean,
first one was 2009.
When I worked with Jason at R8, I found out his credits on the games that he'd worked on. When I was 12, I played Batman Begins, the tie-in to the movie game.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he worked on it, so I worked with someone who had worked on a game that I played as a kid.
That's
Like,
mad.
so,
When you put it into perspective, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. So, Black Mask plays a small role in this game, but obviously he has an expanded role in the prequel game. But what is his identity? So his name, his real name. No
Oh,
multiple choice for this one.
this is multiple choice.
No, it's
no
not.
multiple choice.
Black Mask is in Arkham City.
Yeah, he plays a small role. Yeah.
Oh my god. Nope, not got it. Not a chance.
So it was Roman Sionis.
No, I never would have got that.
So there was I think there's a building, Sionis Industries is in the map as well. But yeah, he had literally a tiny role. It was like.
Question
the
4.
signatures.
The Chelsea manager twins. What? The Chelsea
Chelsea
owner.
owner.
The Abramovici. You've done that well on purpose, Cameron, to stitch me right up.
Yeah, it was originally question 5. Then I thought, oh, what was going to be 4?
The Abramovici twins are separated conjoined twins who each wield a massive hammer. One works for the Joker. Who does the other twin work for? Or which other villain does the twin work for?
Penguin.
Yeah. No hesitation.
I thought they were really, really cool characters. And so what? Basically, I don't know if you've seen them, Bobs. One of them's got like missing their left arm, obviously, because they were conjoined, and he's got a hammer, and the other one's missing their right arm.
Oh, I love that.
Hammer. Yeah.
And then a last question, and then we'll do the tiebreaker.
So at the minute you're on 2.
If he gets this, he's equalled with everyone, isn't he?
Yeah. What is the name of the private security team based in Arkham City?
Oh my god. It's not this. I want to say CIPD, but I don't think that's right.
So it's a private security firm.
Yeah.
Not the police force.
Arkham City.
Yep. Like Doctor Strange's help. Doctor Strange. Yeah. Doctor Strange, yeah. I was thinking bloody.
Yeah, the not the Marvel one.
Yeah.
No idea.
Tiger, spelled Tyger.
Yeah. Should have known that.
No. Like I said, people under pressure. do you think? Wobbs, have we picked a letter?
I'm doing it now. So we don't need to do this because Mikey unfortunately won't be in first place. But I also do want to see Mikey panic very quickly under pressure, like every other person has done so far. So your random. Oh, we've had that letter. Oh, do you know what letter's just come up? B. Can't have that one unfortunately because it's the name of the game you picked. Oh, that's so. Your letter is J. Juliet.
Right, wait a second.
J.
Any
Oh my
games
God.
that begin with J.
Yeah,
Right.
brain's gone blank.
Yeah, everyone's done it. Don't panic. I will give
Is
you
there
another
a
couple.
time limit? Like, what's the time limit?
I'm about to
30
set a
seconds.
timer for 30 seconds, but I give everyone a couple of a minute just to kind of. I can't think of one, you know.
No, like J. You've picked the worst letter.
Right, I'm going to start the timer. Ready, steady, go.
I think there's a jumper video game that's got the movie tie-in.
Yep.
J. I bet there's some really popular ones on that list that I've just absolutely forgotten. Jack and Daxter.
Yep. Done.
Yep. Okay.
The mate.
Right, I'm gonna say 2 words. Just Dance.
Oh my God.
Justice
Yeah.
League.
Just Cause.
Just Cause. Oh my God! Even I didn't think of Just Cause.
Jurassic Park.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
easy. It's easy when you've got a list in
Easy.
front of you, isn't it?
Yeah, I got a list in front of me, yeah. Giant
Don't-
Alliance.
Don't
James
worry.
Bond.
Everyone so far has caved. No
It's
one's.
great. I love being put on the spot and your brain just you forget.
No
your
one-
name.
no
That's
one's-
why we done it, yeah. That's why
No
we done
one has
it.
smashed it because we
Tiebreaker.
knew no one would. The moment you put, because even I sit there and I literally generate the letter there and then. So I sit there with you going, yeah, no, do not worry. So unfortunately, Mikey, you won't be winning the £50 towards your calls. But as always, it has been an absolute pleasure to sit here and talk to you about yourself, about what you do in your story. You can find Mikey's links to his socials. So he's got LinkedIn and Instagram below.
Yep.
We'll share
Charity
that.
as well will be shared
And
as well.
we'll share the link to the Royal Society, Sheffield Society for the Blind. And that has been episode 19 of To Put It Bluntly, episode 4 of season 2 more specifically. So to end up, as always, I've been the Wobbly Gamer.
I've been Cameron Keywood.
That's been Mikey. And we
Oh
will
yeah, sorry. I've been Mikey Starovoytov. It's been a pleasure, guys.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us, Mikey, and we will catch you all next week.
Thank you so
Right.
much.